I am so excited because we have our special guest, Debbie Wheeler, back with us today as we wrap up this confidence series on the characteristics and habits that confident children embody. Debbie Wheeler is a wife of 38 years. She's a mom to 3 girls, me being one of them. She is a baba to 4 grandkids. She is such a bright light. She is a fountain of wisdom. She's an answer seeker, the best advice giver, and literally the definition of what a godly woman looks like. She is a certified counselor for those in recovery and a mentor for mothers. She too has a podcast, which I'll link in the show notes for you to listen. It's called Fixed on Change, and definitely worth your time on listening. Debbie is on a mission to empower women to be courageous, fearless, and emotional and spiritual leaders. So thank you so much, Mom, for joining us again today.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I love to pass on what I've learned from my experience to you moms.
I love it. In today's episode, this is episode number 18 of a 20 episode series. And today we are focusing on the N in confidence, which stands for navigates solutions. So today we're going to be talking about how confident children have characteristics and habits of being able to navigate solutions when they are faced with issues, conflict, problems in general, or something in their life just isn't working. What comes up for you, Mom, when we talk about navigating solutions?
Yeah, navigating solutions. I think we have to help them learn how to solve problems. And they're going to learn from as we role model it. So if an instance comes up, how are we going to work this out? And give them the encouragement that you can solve your own problems, but it's going to take some time. I know for myself, I want instant gratification. I just want it now. Sometimes it's not going to happen overnight. Sometimes it will. But at the same time, it's important to solve the problems, because if we don't, they linger. And one problem builds on top of another. Now you've got other issues, and you also feel unempowered.
Right. One word as you were talking that came up for me is the word empowered. When we know that we have the abilities and the tools and the skills to navigate solutions, it makes us feel empowered and gets us out of a place where we might have once felt stuck or paralyzed and continued maybe patterns and habits that don't serve us, and helps us break free and create healthy patterns and habits. When I was going through my certification with Dr. Shafali, she said this one thing to me that will always stick with me, because it really, really helps you to feel empowered. And that is, whenever you are faced with a situation, circumstance, problem, or just are feeling like blah, we can feel empowered, and we always have 3 choices. And those 3 choices are, we could either stay and accept what is and whatever is happening. We can choose to leave whatever is happening, maybe set some boundaries, or we can make a change. Now, every situation, circumstance, relationship, problem or issue is going to require something different from us at the time. But knowing that we have a choice and we don't just have to stay stuck or paralyzed makes us feel empowered. And if we can model that also for our children, that will help them not only get through life, but help them navigate through life in a healthy way.
I think as you were talking, it's important, like you said, we role model. So if we don't feel empowered, we're not going to be able to pass on how to be empowered to our children. It's really important for us to know how, and also the confidence to know that we can work through any situation. We can bounce back. But as you said, we can either stay or we can leave the situation, which is oftentimes our go-to because we're not empowered, because we don't have the tools. And sometimes those are our first options. But the last one is to change, to take the risk, to move toward the situation, not run from it. And when we do, that's when we start to grow. That's how we become more confident to know that when I go out in the world, I can solve the problems, and problems aren't such a bad thing. They can actually, prove to be in my benefit, and I can grow from it and learn from it for the next challenge that I'm going to get. because life is all about change, so.
Yes, that is the truth. Life is definitely always changing. And I think if COVID actually taught us one thing is that things are going to change. And when we get stuck in our patterns and habits and, a certain way of doing things, and the inability to flow and adjust with change can really, really hinder us. And so to teach our children that they always have a choice and they have the ability to navigate these solutions is just so empowering and so confidence building. I know for me personally in my life, this is a major thing that I had to learn because it's easy to sometimes play victim, right? Like, oh, this is happening to me,
Yeah.
or oh, I'm just stuck in this situation and sit and complain about it. But to know that I'm empowered and I can actually have a choice and not staying stuck in something that maybe no longer serves me or maybe isn't healthy, like I was saying earlier, helps you navigate through life and actually thrive in life.
Yeah, as you're talking, obviously, you're my daughter, I'm your mother, and I am fixed on change. I'm also known as the parenting failure expert. And as you're talking, you said at one point I didn't feel empowered. That kind of goes back on me. I avoided the situations. I knew there was issues, but I didn't have the tools to navigate through those situations. So of course, you're not going to have them either. And
Mhm.
so we have to go through this process of getting the tools, and that's what you're doing now. That's what I have done, so that I can pass on better tools for the next generation and also to my daughters for now.
Right. I love how you brought that up. It is things are totally modeled, and that's why so much of what I do with my clients too is really working with the parent, because until the parent learns these tools and skills that you're talking about, it's impossible to guide your child to do the same because most things are caught, not taught. And so modeling is huge, huge, huge. And to be able to learn these tools and skills as a parent really helps you to create the environment for your child to do the same, and help them feel safe to navigate, because it can be a scary thing, especially if it's new, knowing that they have a choice and just see what happens when they make one. And conveying the message that it's okay if it doesn't work, you can choose another option as well.
Also, as parents, as a mom, I just remember feeling this is just too much. I can't do this.
Mhm.
And oftentimes you hear that from moms because it is too much. But once we start gaining the confidence, start learning how to navigate through these difficult situations, we're going to feel more confident. And that's going to be passed on to the children as well. Because being a mom, it can be the most beautiful thing ever, right? Everyone says it's just such a blessing to be a mom, to have children. Well, when you're in the midst of quote chaos and you're not able to really navigate through, it's more chaos than blessing. So we want to get to the point where there's blessing, where I'm enjoying being a mom because now I have the tools and I can navigate through the problems. I can navigate through my own stuff so that now I can learn and grow and then pass that on.
I love that. Let's talk a little bit how you actually navigate. Like, at what point would you become aware that maybe there's a choice to make? Does anything come up for you?
Well, through any situation, what I've learned now is that it doesn't have to be solved right away. I can wait on it. I can pray about it, number one, because I believe God has everything and I can look to God for guidance. So I can wait and I can pray and I can have a time of solitude because my brain goes constant. I call it a committee up there that is constantly chattering, telling me what I need to do or how many things I need to get done. So I need to have some space in my thoughts so that I can start to figure out what the problem is and then how to solve it.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is you have really instilled this process of not impulsively reacting to initially what you feel to help guide you on making a choice, but instead taking a pause or a step back, kind of coming back to center and kind of like a neutral emotional place where you can logically think about your next steps forward or what choice that you want to make.
That is well said. That's exactly what it is. Taking the pause to rest my mind so that I can come up with the solutions, because we have the ability. Oftentimes we're just too frazzled in many different areas to focus on what is the problem at hand today. What can I solve today?
Mhm. And to teach and guide our children how to do that and also model that, I feel like is one of the best gifts that we can give them. I know from personal experiences and past decisions and choices that I've made, whenever I react solely on feelings, it's almost always a choice that I end up having to go back and clean up the pieces after. And I always think, oh, why did I do that? And so, really instilling this pause within our children before they move forward and decide however it is that they're going to navigate is huge, not like in all areas of life and in all relationships, honestly, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so true. Impulsivity is not an asset, and neither is multitasking. We think as women, oh, I can do so many things at once. It's actually not really good for our brain. We need to just focus and stay present at whatever task we have. And that's also what helps us connect to our children or our family. It's focusing on being present. Right now, they came home from school and I'm sitting here having a snack with them. That's all I'm doing. Not in my head thinking of all the things that I need to do over here.
Yes.
So if we're going to solve problems, we also have to learn how to be present so that we can recognize, oh, there's a problem here, or they're having a really tough time. Let's talk about it.
Yes, I love how you mentioned the present moment. This is something that you taught me, actually share with clients all the time too, is the saying future trip. When we're navigating solutions, it can be easy to future trip and think about all the what ifs, and fear comes in, which can cause us to respond or react based on fear and the what ifs of could happen in the future. But when you bring it back to the present moment and ask yourself, what is true right now? What is the best thing right now? Usually that is the best way forward.
Yeah. And there's more peace, right?
Mhm.
There's more understanding and there's problem solving.
Yes, absolutely.
It takes a while to get there though, right? It just takes practice. I always tell people you can have all the knowledge, but if you're not actually practicing, it's going to be very difficult to pull out that tool because you're not going to know how to use it when you actually need it. So we could practice every day, every moment, practice being present right here. I'm in this room. I'm sleeping. When I'm in my bedroom, it's time to sleep. It's not time to worry about all the things I have to do tomorrow.
Yes, totally. And that's true. Consistency is key. And that is where us as the parent comes in, and how we can help guide our child is by, guiding them daily in, coming alongside them and helping them navigate solutions. So 4 things that we can give to you guys, the listener right now, on how you can be a support for your confident child to navigate solutions would be: number one, help them recognize that whenever they have big feelings or, big emotions, that is usually a signal to pause, like we were talking about. Come back to the present moment, kind of regulate your nervous system before moving forward and deciding what the best choice to make is. And number two, creating an environment for your child to be able to process and navigate in a safe environment where they know that they won't be judged, that you are there to support them and help them navigate. Sometimes as a parent, you might see things that your child might not see, and not coming from a judgment place, but just from a curiosity standpoint, asking them questions. What would that look like if you made that decision? How would that make you feel? And then number three, reminding them and empowering them whenever they are faced with something, that they always have three choices. They can stay, leave, or change. And then number four, I think this is the hardest part as a parent, is regardless of what choice your child makes, even if you don't think it's the right choice or the right solution, to let them make it, because that is how they are going to learn as they continue through this life, that, oh shoot, that didn't really work that time. Something similar has come up. I think I'm going to try a different solution here. Otherwise, you will have children who will keep repeating the same habits and patterns over and over and over again. So those four things are how us parents can help guide, support, and create an environment for our confident children to continue navigating solutions on their own. Mom, is there anything else that you want to add before we wrap up this episode?
Just that I'm so glad that you're doing this, because we desperately need it. Nothing teaches us moms how to behave, how to act, how to be empowered. We certainly usually don't get it from our role models, because they probably didn't know either, and that's okay. But we have the opportunity today to learn something different, and the children of today are definitely going to benefit.
Absolutely. So true. It is never too late to break patterns and habits and learn new tools and skills. Thank you, Mom, so much for joining us for this episode. Where can everybody find you?
I have a podcast called Fixed on Change, the Parenting Failure Expert. And my number is...
You don't have to, well, I could put that in the show notes. So Fixed on Change is her podcast. Do you have your Instagram handle as well?
I do, but I don't follow it right now.
Yeah, no worries. So I will put your Fixed on Change podcast link in the show notes. So definitely give that a listen. Debbie, like I said, is so wise beyond her years, and just such a great inspiration to living a godly life and what that looks like as a mom, as a wife, and as a woman in general. So definitely check that out, and make sure you stay tuned for episode number 19, because Debbie is going to join us again.